Hello, I'm Shani S. Villafranca po, second year architecture student from FEU Manila. The purpose of this interview is to gain knowledge and get more information about your profession and doing how you communicate with your coworkers. Um, Here are the questions po. Architecture po ba talaga yung first choice nyo?
Yeah, architecture talaga. Actually, I came from a science and technology na school in Mindanao.
Oh,
Wait, hindi ba kailangan mag-introduce muna ako or okay lang diretso na?
pwede naman po if you want.
Sige. I'm architect Karl Frederick Taberdo, principal architect of Taberdo Design Studio. So the studio's been running for around 8 years already, since 2014. And then our office is right now actually before it's in QC, pero during the pandemic, I gave it up. So I transferred my office here in BF Homes, Paranaque. Okay, so to answer your question, yeah, so I came from a science technology university in high school in Mindanao. So that's Mindanao State University. Pero kasi yung that time, purely science and tech talaga yung 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 specialty nung school na yun. So lahat ng direction after high school goes into yung fields na yun eh. So uso dati was ECE, electrical engineering, comsci, IT. Pero ako kasi mayroong background with arts nung elementary. So I've been joining a lot of poster competition, basta anything related to arts. Pero hindi ko siya na-specialize nung high school kasi nga science and tech. Nevertheless, my mother convinced me na first choice mo yung Archie, then second choice mo other science and tech. In case hindi mo ko yung Archie, then you have to go with yung in-demand na courses during that time.
Would you mind po ba if you share one successful story
Na,
like how you achieve po na maging architect, gano'n po.
success story.
Kahit konti.
Nung naging architect,
Yes.
tama ba? Ano ba? I mean, ano yung definition ng success story?
I mean, diba, like, narinig ko po kasi, like, nalaman ko din na may sarili kayong fear of term.
Yeah.
Tama. And, yun, paano niyo po, like, na-achieve yung ganun?
Okay.
Nagkaroon po kayo ng sarili.
So actually, I started the firm when I was still working for working for a firm that time, 2013. So, nagkaroon ng opportunity yung relatives ko from Mindanao. Alam nilang architect na ako. Naging architect ko noong 2010. So, nung time na yun, alam nila na I've been practicing architecture. So, they asked me to design yung public market. Kasi nasunog yun eh. This one is located in North Cotabato. So, nasunog yung market. They need to master plan the market. So, they called me kasi alam nila architect na ako. So, they asked me to do it. And then, okay yung fee. So, I've decided na umalis na ako dun sa firm and then start my own practice. So, from there on, yan, tuloy-tuloy na yung yung, yung takbo ng TDS, Taberdo Design Studio.
Um, nung college po kayo, was there a time that you don't want to pursue your chosen course?
Um, hindi. Wala, ano talaga. It's architecture or nothing for me. So, lahat ng energy ko, ano, towards, ano talaga, pursuing and graduating BS Architecture in UP.
What do you feel po when you see your name listed as passed on architecture board examination?
What do I
What do you feel po nung nakita niyo po yung name niyo na like
Ah,
pasado po kayo dun sa architecture board examination?
syempre masaya. I mean, yun yung ano talaga. Kumbaga, that's the best reward that you can give to your parents. Lalo na yung mother ko na she believed in me not to become an architect. Eh. She pushed me na, hindi, kunin mo lang. And then, ano na, bahala ka na dun sa other courses. Eh. Kasi ever since nung I've been into arts. Actually, siya din nagpasok sa akin sa arts. Eh. When I was in kindergarten, she enrolled me to an art school during that time. So yung skill ko nung time na yun, that's when I've been used during yung elementary joining various competitions. So when I knew na I'm already an architect, siya talaga yung unang tinawagan ko. Kasi of course, lahat ng pagod niya, diba? Sustaining my education towards that goal. Eh. So, sobrang saya ko talaga.
Do you consider your life successful right now as an architect?
Um, I think hindi pa. I can say it kasi with the pandemic right now, it's been actually hard to get projects nowadays. So, medyo shaky yung foundation ng office right now. Pero it's slowly gaining traction with new projects coming in since clients are more, I think, confident na they can start their projects now given may vaccine na and then medyo maluwag na yung restrictions within Metro Manila.
When it comes to your professional life naman, do you experience with a client that asking for revision of your proposal during the agreed deadline?
Asking for
Revision po.
revision, yeah.
Yes. Like during the agreed deadline po.
Oh, lahat sila.
How do you do with it po? Like, kayo po yung nag-a-adjust or
Yeah. Pero ano naman, yung revision should be actually rational, number one. And then towards the needs naman ng client yun.
Hindi
That's
pa
what they
naman
ask for.
hindi pa naman nangyari po na like yung parang buong babaguhin.
Babaguhin? Oh yeah, madaming beses no. Madaming beses. Kasi yun nga, pabago-bago yung isip nila. One one day gusto nila ganito, the next day nagkaroon sila ng epiphany. Parang ayoko na ng ganun ganito. So they have to change everything, eh. Even the kung ano yung building type na gagawin dun sa properties nila. So, yung next question ngayon is how do I cope with those type
Yes.
of uh, revisions or issues? Siyempre, you
Yes.
have to tell them na na merong cost implication yung revision nyo. Kasi kung minor revisions lang naman, and then nakaset yung project, yung building type niya, okay lang. You can change the scale basta within that agreed na building type or yung scale ng project. Pero yung revision, if it veers away drastically from the agreed na scope of work or scale ng project, then you have to ask for for additional cost for that.
Do you even encounter a client with like nag-reject po ng proposals, no?
Oo naman.
Well,
If they, syempre may ano sila, may silang ideas in mind. That's why it's important na before you pitch your proposal, you should know ano yung gusto ng client. So you should get as much as information from them. So basic informations like yung lot size, ano yung gross floor area na they intend for that type of building, and then yung spaces na ilalagay in detail as much as possible. Tanungin mo sila kung kaya nila i-provide mismo yung the exact floor area, then you should ask them para when you do the design, excuse me, you won't have any trouble with ano na, with um with the layout of spaces, and then mas lesser yung probability na they will reject it. Also, you should ask them for ano yung ano nila, design inspiration for that project. Ano yung gusto nilang itsura ng building. So you should ask them, meron ba kayo nakita online na parang nag-envision nyo na yung may itsura ng project nyo? So if so, then you should ask them, give you pegs from Instagram, from sa lahat ng social media platforms. Pinterest ba or Facebook? So, yun yung ano solution para hindi ma-reject yung or decreases the chances that your proposal will be rejected.
how do you communicate with other partners po in a project? Are there any difficulties?
Um, ano naman communication is ano talaga, is a vital role in the design process. Without communication, uh, of course, hindi lang naman architect yung involved sa isang project. We have all the engineering trades. So you have the structural, electrical, plumbing, mechanical, then even specialty trades like electronics. And then kailangan nyo talaga mag-communicate with them in terms of the design process. So kung kaya mga kausapin yung mga engineers yan during the schematic phase of the project, you should. At least you'll know lahat nung issues it might cause dun sa pag binubuo mo yung building. So if there's a problem with communication between the professionals, even with the client then actually, dapat yun nga, yung sabi ko kanina, you should ask the client's needs in detail para uh, makuha mo yung gusto talaga nila. So if there's a problem with that pa lang dun sa client pa lang, in terms of communicating yung needs ng project, then you'll have trouble properly designing the project. And then you'll have trouble uh, designing yung spaces and if you don't communicate well with the other engineering professionals. In terms of ano naman, execution, ayun, vital din yung communication when it comes to the construction phase of the project. So, dapat kausap mo lahat ng trades ng contractor. Kasi lahat yan babagsak lahat sa architect. Even though lahat naman meron silang kanya-kanyang specialty, eventually, yung architect yung tatanungin kung tama ba yung interconnected ba yung lahat ng trades with the architectural design. Kumbaga yung architect should be the one who will converge everything, and then he should actually be the one to um, siya yung confident nung owner, nung client. Siya dapat makakasagot ng lahat. Kaya nga yung architect, yung course ng architect, di ba? Halos lahat inaaral natin, di ba? All trades, electrical, lahat. Para it-trains you na when it comes to the practice. Alam mo yung pinag-uusapan ng lahat ng trades. You should have an idea. Hindi naman kailangan alam mo lahat talaga, but at least you have an idea of how to communicate the details or systems ng projects.
As an architect, how do you prepare yourself for upcoming proposals po? Like, do you sleep early and double check your outputs? Ganun po.
Wala, sila na yung body clock ko actually. Siguro nasanay na ako sa all-nighters. So I sleep late actually. Pero pag may meeting, syempre you have to wake up early. And then you can prepare yung materials the night before your meeting.
Tips lang po for success. How can you motivate an aspiring architect po?
How to motivate. Dapat nandun yung ano kasi, yung drive. You should have the passion for designing. If di mo you just have to to keep it in yourself na I want to be an architect, I want to design yung I want to change yung urban landscape. You have that goal eh. Tulad nung question mo kanina, meron bang ba, during college na parang ayaw mo nang gawin yung I want to pursue yung architecture. Kasi number one, mahirap yung architecture for real. Yung course niya. I read somewhere, yung architecture na program is even harder compared to other medical fields. Eh. Kasi it involves yung ano sabi ko kanina, halos lahat ng trade sa project, sa construction, the architect should actually be able to learn them. Eh. So, it's quite hard in terms of absorbing yung that amount of knowledge that will prepare you to be an architect. Pero if you have the passion for designing, I think kakayanin mo naman yun. As long as you have that, actually, baga, kung babalikan mo na lang during college, parang matatawa ka lang, parang dadaan lang naman eh. Parang kinaya mo na rin siya.
What are your big breaks po? Like, yung pinaka, like, yung sa mga projects niyo po, like, mga kilalang building, ano po yung pinaka, hindi niyo po malilimutan na project? Talagang,
Hindi malilimutan ng
like,
project.
remarkable siya sa inyo, you know?
I see. Um, I guess one is I think it, ano naman din eh, it applies for other architects. Yung buildings, I think first building na nakita mo talaga na from design, it was executed well. I think memorable para sa akin was, nasa firm pa kasi ako nun eh. Are you referring to during my practice or kahit nung nasa firm pa?
Kahit naman po yung nasa firm ba, gano'n.
Kahit nasa firm.
Yes po.
Ayun, I think may project kami dun sa Ayala Center, Cebu. Actually, it's a landscape project na kasi yung firm um, specializes in landscape architecture din. So, I became part of that department for a time. So, we did the landscape design ng bagong wing ng Ayala Center, Cebu. So, ayun. Maganda yung pagkagawa eh. So, it's actually memorable for me. In terms naman dun sa practice ko, it's one building dito sa UP. Yung UP College of Engineering library na Learning Commons building. So, Learning Commons is a new building type na ano siya, associated with with libraries. Eh. Kasi yung building na yun, it involves yung digital information. So, sa halip na books yung laman ng building, it involves sharing knowledge through digital information. And then, learning commons kasi meron spaces to na it involves classes or discussion spaces that also, yun yung main function of building is to share information during this yung digital technology age. So this one is in UP Diliman. So isa sa mga na-execute talaga ng buildings. I mean, I've had a number of projects nung nag-start yung office pero yan yung kumbaga in terms of building type, it's a new building type and then it was executed. I think that made it memorable for me.
In terms of designing po, paano po kayo pumipili like yung concept niyo, like saan po nanggagaling? Like ano po mga inspiration niyo kapag nagde-design?
Actually, a lot of architects have styles. I mean, hindi mo siya maiwasan. But for me, I take project um, as unique from the others. So every project has unique. Every project has a context na iba dun sa ibang projects. So as long as yung design process ko is nga take into the context ng project. So in terms of site, so in terms of yung surrounding environment, and then yung context din nung brief ng project. So you have to take all those in consideration. So whatever context that project presents, then you should be able to actually design around it. So it's hard for me to go into styles kasi yun nga, every project has their own context. Most likely mag-iiba yung itsura per project. Pero yung styles kasi, di ba? Kumbaga parang lahat ng buildings nila, projects nila, more or less it looks the same kasi they have parang parang may sinusunod sila na type of look or type of spaces. For me, I take context ng project. seriously. So that's why it makes yung every project stands out from the rest. Pero in terms of, I think, kung style naman, I think sa akin more into minimalist na ano naman. I mean, I like buildings to look clean. For me, I think yun yung parang, I think common na identity ng projects ko. Pero it doesn't mean that uh, all of these projects look the same.
Ngayon po ba, like, meron po kayong present na project ngayon?
Ngayon,
Yes po.
design. Yes, meron sa Samar. It's a 5-story na hotel. Tapos around 100 beds. Tapos yung site is a sloping site siya eh. Paangat from the street, paangat dun sa likod. So, meron siyang ano, and then yung surrounding areas, ano pa kasi vacant. And then merong bundok sa likod. Tapos, since sloping siya, sloping down, sa harap meron siyang view ng sea. So, yung name ng building is Hillside Hotel. Dahil that's the context of the project. So, the owner asked to design a hotel that actually maximizes yung views ng content sa kanyang sea. Nasa ano pa siya ngayon, working drawings pa lang. So, most likely, it will be constructed baka after election. Kasi yung owner is a ruling uh, political family in somewhere.
Okay, yun lang po, architect.
Yun na yun?
Yes po.
Okay.
Thank you po, architect.
Thank you. Sige, good night.
Wala po.